Hey, welcome to Blue Jay Banner, sponsored by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally here on our YouTube channel at Blue Jay Banner, oddly enough named. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We've been killing it on this YouTube channel ever since we started. Gosh, I don't know, 7 months ago. So it hasn't even been that long. We've been doing this. So thanks. Make sure you hit subscribe. It helps us out a lot, and like and to spread the word with all Blue Jay fans. Got a jam-packed show tonight. Our good friend Ross Ferrarini's with us. Hey, Ross.
Hey,
Producing today, Zach Weaver. And today we're going to have Ed Service, head baseball coach of your first place, Creighton Blue Jays, by the way. What a turnaround, man. They were like tied for fourth a couple weeks ago. Now they're in first.
I was just gonna say I thought they were struggling.
Yeah, six in a row. That's what'll do it to you.
There you go.
Six in a row. UConn lost one. UConn had a game rained out that they're probably not going to make up. So now we got a half game lead on UConn. So there we go. But we've got our as we'll talk about with Ed, we got the schedule's all backloaded. So we play the top three teams now, 3 weekends in a row: Xavier, Seton Hall, and UConn. The good news is we got two of those series, Xavier and UConn, at home. So that'll be good. And then later on, we'll talk a ton of baseball or basketball recruiting. We got all kinds of news. We're going to talk about the golf. The men's just wrapped up. Catherine Lemke of course, won the women's a while back. She'll be heading to the regionals. And we're also going to talk about the Blue Jay Banner golf tournament starting up. And we're going to finish it off with another edition of Take Your Shot. We get everybody updated on that. Big visitors today: Jonathan Lawson, Brock Weiss visiting Creighton. I think it's two guys that Creighton is heavily in the lead on. I think things went pretty well today. So I'm guessing these will be maybe the last two spots filled. Most people thinking Mr. Kaluma is not coming back. That would be the extra, obviously, the two spots we have. Have you seen Lawson at all, Ross?
I remember him coming off the bench for Memphis. If you were asking me to do a deep dive scouting report on his game right now, I couldn't give you that certainly, but I remember him. Remember the name. I know he was highly sought after as a recruit, and I think you're always taking a little bit of a flyer on guys that had some potential, and maybe it didn't play or produce as much at their first spot, but that's just how it goes. You gotta refill the roster anymore in today's day and age. Reload the roster.
Yep, absolutely. That's just the name of the game now, and I know some people don't like it. I saw an interesting quote. We haven't been on for this will be 2 weeks off, or just 1 week off, but Mike DeCourcy, I mean, he's been on our show before. He's just well respected writer for the Sporting News, and obviously, if you watch Big Ten Network and Fox, he's on there. They're bracketologists and on the Big Ten Network a lot. I thought he had an interesting tweet here a while back. He said, rather than everybody sitting around whining and moaning about it and how it's not going to get any better, just embrace it. Like, look at football. Like, free agency comes up in football, and it's the biggest thing, and everybody's talking about it for weeks. And he goes, just build it like that, and it might really grow and grow the sport and get more things about the sport. So I see his point, really.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting though. I think it's there's probably not as big an emphasis anymore on recruiting kids out of high school, just based on kind of the anecdotes I've heard from various staffs and different media members, etc. So how many kids are going to fall through the cracks that way? It's like at some if every staff is just gonna focus on the transfer portal going forward. I don't know how that'll look, but there I would imagine there's going to be some sort of trickle down effect to recruiting at the high school level, and there's going to be some really good kids that probably wind up um, at spots that they're better than. And so I almost, in a weird way, kind of, although it's obnoxious to follow all of this, in my opinion, it's exhausting. Um, kind of this chaotic nature of this free agency post season. I almost think it's going to end up being, a little bit to your point, Tim, a good thing in the long run, because I think we're going to see a lot more of based on what we saw this year. All of a sudden, Florida Atlantic has a shot to play in the national title game. Because
Right.
if you look at a team like Florida Atlantic, that ain't a mid-major team as far as talent is concerned. They had a lot of guys that should be playing at the high major level. And San Diego State's the same way. And so I think you're going to see a lot more parity. So if you're a fan of that, I think you're right. Maybe it is a good thing in the long run.
Well, we're going to switch gears here to go to some baseball talk. Joining us is the head coach of your first place Creighton Blue Jays, Ed Service. Hi, Coach. I know a couple of weeks ago you were talking a lot about how transfer portal and all this is just a whole new ball game and how crazy it is. Thought we had Coach. See, he's got his technical advisor there. There he is. Coach, can you hear me? He cannot hear me. You can hear me okay, Ross, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Hey, Coach, can you hear us?
Maybe he's on mute or.
Coach, you're not on mute, are you?
Oh, I'm curious to ask him though how the transfer portal has affected a sport like baseball.
Well, I can share you a little bit. Hey, Coach, can you hear us? You can see him. He looks great. He's working on it. All right. You just let Coach just jump in when you can hear us. So, yeah, I can share you a little bit about that. He spoke about that a couple weeks ago to me, and he said it's a little different now in baseball because you basically have the SEC and the ACC, and maybe the Big 12. So
Mm-hmm.
those three, if there's anybody good in the mid-major level or the lower major level, those players get gobbled up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the bad part about it. But
that makes sense. Very much makes sense.
let's get this technical thing fixed up here. Hey, Coach, I can hear you.
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
All
Thank
right.
God. Thank God you had your technical advisor there.
Yes. I need lots of help with this stuff. So
Hey, before we get into what I was going to talk to you about, we were just talking about the transfer portal, and Ross asked a question about baseball, and I know you addressed it with me and some other guys a couple weeks ago. But just briefly talk about, what you told us about the transfer portal, how, in baseball it's a little bit different. It's, because it's so dominated by the Southern schools, and especially like the ACC, SEC, Big 12, that if you're anybody good in any of the other leagues, you're probably going to get gobbled up by those guys.
Yeah, a lot of, when I was been talking to a lot of our coaching colleagues this spring, they are concerned about, once we develop a elite player, that if he goes out, especially goes out in the summer, because college baseball players play summer baseball, and they almost become like free agents sometimes when they go out in the summer. And a lot of us are worried about the fact that, we're going to become like the minor leagues for some of the bigger schools. And the beauty of college baseball for all these years has been that schools like Creighton or Kent State or Stony Brook or whatever could, develop players And if everything's, stayed right, they stayed healthy, could have one of those special seasons. I think we're on the verge of eliminating some of that. So we're going to see what happens here. It's still kind of new, this transfer portal stuff, but it definitely has made some guys think a little bit about how college baseball is going to shape out.
Coach, when I talked to you 2 weeks ago, you said, gosh, it's getting kind of late in the year and I still don't have a feel for this team. 6 conference wins in a row later. Do you got a feel for them now?
Well, we're starting to execute the game a lot better. When I was talking to you a couple of weeks ago, offensively, we just struggled with the bunt game. We struggled with the hit and run game. We weren't very active on the bases. We were very station to station. It's hard to score runs in college baseball that way. And the last several weeks, we've been much better on the base paths. We executed a hit and run several times this weekend to perfection. Our bunt game has really improved. We're stealing more bases. We're going first to third on base hits to the outfield. So I like where we're at offensively. We need to continue that because we're in a really tough stretch here now.
Yeah.
Starting Friday.
Yeah. When we talked, you made the big switch, your Friday and Saturday starters. Obviously, I'm assuming you're pretty pleased with that, how it's went.
Yeah. Dom Conciliari, we moved him up to Friday, and Dom's been giving us 6 innings plus, which is really, really important for your Friday guy to get you into the weekend. And then Ryan Wyndham pitched very well this weekend in that Saturday role. And then we also got a great start out of Justin Kleinsorge. So that's encouraging. We'd like to see our starters get in 5 or 6 innings so we don't tap that bullpen too much. And this weekend we didn't have to. So that'll be a key as we move forward.
Nobody broke an ankle or twisted a knee on that field in Butler, did they?
We got a couple bad hops on practice on Thursday. We had an infielder take one in the chops. We had to stop practice. We quit hitting ground balls at that point. I was very concerned, really, truthfully, about getting through the weekend without an injury. And then we had all kinds of weather issues on top of it. We played through hail. I've not played through hail before in all my coaching days. So we saw some new experiences, but the field played okay on game day. It just didn't play very well on that practice day. So we're glad to be back at the stadium here starting this weekend.
Well, I know you've always talked about it. It's such a shame because when you stand up at Hinkle and you look down on the field, it looks so picturesque and, It could be really a cool atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like,
yes. Yeah, it is right.
It's
it's right by the, Hinkle Fieldhouse, and it's really a cool little campus. But but the field is a little rough right now, and I don't know if the spring has had to do with it or if it's just like that. But I know our making more
exceeded. I don't know what the right word is. Your expectations of how strong the league would have been up until May.
It's shaping up kind of the way we thought it would be. Everybody knows Connecticut's got a great program. Xavier's been very good the last several years. Seton Hall's better this year than they were last, so maybe that's the surprise team. Georgetown's really made a big push the last couple of years, and they're in they got a very good chance to make the tournament this year. I guess the only surprising team in the other direction would be St. John's. And St. John's got off to a really good start in the preseason, kind of their non-conference games. But they've had some tough conference games. They played UConn, they played us, they played Seton Hall. So I think their record will come around a little bit. I think they're probably too deep to qualify for the tournament. But I think the conference has kind of played out the way we thought before the season started.
Oh, we're talking with head baseball coach Ed Service. Coach, when we were talking a couple of weeks ago, you were touting, you were number one in the nation in fielding, and I walked away from that conversation thinking, geez, I sure hope he didn't jinx him. And sure enough, he had some errors right away the next couple of games. Probably a law of averages there, but your defense has been tremendous all season.
Yeah, you're right. I probably shouldn't have spoke like that. We had a 4-error game last week. And you can probably count those on one hand in the last 10 years. So, but last week was a tough week for us. Played double midweek for the first time all season. The players are close to getting into finals. Finals start here shortly. So there's a lot going on in their lives right now besides baseball. So they looked a little fatigued on Wednesday when we broke down and made those mistakes. But that being said, I thought we played really well this weekend. We only committed 2 errors, and we made some really plus plays this weekend at Butler. So I think we're going to be sound in that aspect as we move forward. I look today, we're like 5th or 6th in the country yet in fielding percentage. So that's not anything to sneeze at. So very pleased with that aspect. It's been our most consistent part of our game from the beginning of the season till now.
You spoke about gosh, 2 weeks ago you're in 4th and now you're in 1st. Things can change in a hurry when you go 6 in a row. But you spoke about make the goal 1 is to make sure and get in that tournament, right?
Right.
And you spoke about, gosh, I think every year somebody with 11 wins has made it every year, right?
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Now you're only 2 away now.
Yeah, and we hope that holds true, but this could be the year it doesn't either, because I think there's 5 legitimate teams fighting for 4 spots. Connecticut, Xavier, Creighton, Seton Hall, and Georgetown. And we all have some tough games to play. I mean, not only do we have a tough series with Xavier this weekend, then we head out to New Jersey to play Seton Hall the following weekend, which will be a huge series. And I tell our team before every series that we want to at least win the series so we have the tiebreaker. It could come down to a tie-breaking situation to decide, the 3rd and 4th teams to go to the tournament this year. So the only one we don't have a tiebreaker on right now is Georgetown, but we got to continue that, starting this weekend.
Yeah, the good thing there is you got 4 games up on them in the loss column right now. So that's a good thing. If you can just take care of business, win these series, you're going to be just fine. And then that ultimately could set up the last series of the season. I would think we would have pretty darn nice weather. 3 games at home against UConn. My goodness, that would be just huge.
That would be, and you got 2 night games. You're right, Tim. The weather should be good by the middle to later part of May. And then wouldn't it be nice to have those games be for something other than just qualifying for the conference tournament? Maybe if we continue to play well, those will be for the regular season championship. So got a long ways to go. But I like the fact that we have 6 home games versus only 3 on the road. So we've kind of worked through some of the tough travel that we've gone through this year with only 1 more trip. And, we're starting to get comfortable playing at home too. And it's not as easy as it looks when you play in that stadium compared to where we played this weekend and when we went to Georgetown and played at that field. It's a lot different. So I think our players are starting to get comfortable playing at home.
Well, and then you're going to play in the soccer field at Seton Hall. So
yes, they have a dual field there. So, but it's turf and it's consistent and it's legitimate as far as the length of the fences. So we've always played pretty well there, actually. So, but I know what you're saying. It is a converted soccer baseball field.
Who was it in the fog? Couldn't even see the ball, but all you could hear it was clank off those metal bleachers out there. Who hit that home run?
That was Mike Amodi.
Oh, that's
several years ago, and I was coaching third, and the ball came off the bat. And again, Mike's a big, strong guy, and we felt pretty comfortable that it was an extra base hit. But then we heard the sound of the bleachers in center field, and we knew it was more than just a double. It was a home run. But I'm not sure the umpires saw it either, but they heard it. So I guess it was we're grateful that those bleachers were out there that night.
Yeah, you never know what it could have been called. So Xavier, are they the same type of Xavier team we've seen the last few years?
Yeah, a lot of power. Again, they play in a small ballpark. They got 75 home runs already, which is a lot for a college baseball team at this time of year. They had 11 home runs in their series against Connecticut at home. So we're going to have to find a way to, keep the ball in the ballpark. They're very aggressive early in the count. So we were talking to Mitch, our pitching coach today, how we got to make really good pitches early in the count because those guys go up there hunting fastballs. And so they're a dangerous team. They're very similar to the teams they've been the last several years. They're not going to run the bases a ton. They're going to be solid defensively. Their pitchers are going to throw strikes, but they base that team on offense and power.
Well, the good thing is you only have 2 midweek games left, and they're both here in Omaha, so that's a good thing. And you don't have one this week. Give your kids a little bit of a rest.
Yeah, they need it. That was a busy 9 days there. 3 against St. John's, and then the Sunday game being a very emotional game, a comeback game. Then we play UNLV, and we don't play particularly well Tuesday early. We come back and score some runs late. And then Wednesday was just kind of back and both teams were grinding. They were tired. Both pitching staffs were kind of searching for outs. And then we won it in a walk-off situation on Wednesday. And then we got to get up. We're at the building at Kitty at 5 o'clock in the morning on Thursday to head out to Indianapolis. They route us to Charlotte to go to Indianapolis, which is a unique route to take to Indy. And we practice out there, and then we get some mixed bag of weather. Then we have an extra inning game yesterday. So the players needed a couple of days off. They're going to have today and tomorrow off. And then we'll resume our preparation for Xavier on Wednesday.
Nice. And we want everybody to get out there. It's going to be should be a good weekend. Going to be a great series with Xavier.
Yeah, it will be. It's we've had some great games with them, and I anticipate 3 this weekend. It'll be hard fought.
Hey, last thing, because I know it's a big game every year here. How is that Nebraska situation? So we're gonna pick up the game we played in Lincoln, correct?
Correct.
And then is the next game going to be 7 or 9?
That's to be determined yet.
Okay.
We haven't. We're trying to. We got to find out from the NCAA if it's even allowable to do that. But the first game will be, bottom of the 7th inning. They have the bases loaded, so we'll start. It'll be kind of unique going out there with runners on base, and obviously we're the visiting team to finish that game, and then we'll decide here shortly when we hear back from the NCAA whether or not it'll be a 7 or a 9 in that normal game. And again, that game's on TV, so we have to be smart about how that all works as well. So,
Sure.
But we had a good start to a game down in Nebraska a couple of weeks ago before the weather moved in.
Yeah, there could be a lot of fireworks there in those last couple innings.
It'll be interesting to see how both coaches play that. Coming off of they're playing Maryland this weekend, which is a huge series for them at Maryland, and then we've got a huge series. I don't know what kind of pitching either one of us are going to have available on Tuesday. So typical midweek game, a little bit of uncertainty.
Yeah. Coach, thanks so much for joining us. Congratulations, great work. Way to take over first place, and kind of a big deal. UConn getting a game canceled now. That's a half game that could come into play.
Well, it kind of reminds us of last year, Tim.
Yeah.
We had that game canceled at Villanova. They had a game canceled at Villanova. Something about Villanova, you don't always get your games in when you go to Philly, and we'll see. Hopefully it does end up costing them. We've got a lot of work to do before then, but we got a lot of fun games here to look forward to.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Bye now.
Head coach at service of your first place, Creighton Blue Jays. Off to a great comeback here, winning 6 in a row, splitting the series with Vegas, and like Ed said, got that tie game with the bases loaded in the bottom of the 7th inning to start off. What a way to start off it. People, the major leagues complain about putting a guy at second. My God. How about starting a game with the bases loaded?
It's a whole new.
And then you've already used some guys you would probably use. You would have used them, so you can't pitch those guys. Yeah. So wow, something. But yeah, get out to the ballpark. It should be a great weekend. You're gonna have some night games, so it ought to be a great time to go out and check out the Jays. We were in the middle of talking, so we had Lawson advice in. I don't think we talked a lot about Sterling Knox and Shane Thomas. Shane Thomas will be a walk-on, and then Sterling Knox will join the team as well, a freshman. So they kind of solidified that wing spot.
I don't know much about either of them. I mean, Sterling Knox I had heard of. I didn't. The walk-on Shane Thomas. I don't know anything about him.
I believe. Zach, do you know what was he at Was he with Knox's high school or AAU team or something? Yeah. So he was just kind of a guy that we saw while we were recruiting this guy. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So he's a center. So he's a guy that we're just going to look at. Yay. Vice is a center. I'm sorry, got mixed up. Vice is a center. So he's a guy, that could be a backup down the road, a backup type guy. And so hopefully we can get those two aboard, Vice and Lawson. Trey and Kalk, both in NBA workouts with teams. I know Kalk worked out with the Bulls not too long ago. And we'll see what kind of progress they have. Would you think it's fair to say, because this has come up over on BlueJBanner.com, would you think it's fair to say that if you don't get to the combine, you're probably going to be a late day tour at best? That'd be fair.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It's it's interesting. It's gotten sort of different throughout the past number of years. I would say if you're a mid second round to late second round guy, you don't even want to get drafted. You would rather probably be an undrafted free agent, and then your agent, you and your agent can work on probably potentially the best fit for you from a summer league standpoint, which then helps your prospects of getting into a roster for training camp that might need your services more. If it's kind of an odd way of how it works now, but that's certainly one of the ways in which guys latch on now.
Yeah, and it used to be too. If you were, say, projected before you had to declare whether you're going to stay in the draft or not, if you were projected mid-second round, most of those guys would go because they would go, well, I got the G League, I can get in that way, and if I get drafted late, no problem. Get a two-way contract, whatever the deal is. Now, man, if you're not in the top 10 second round, these guys just say, man, I'm going back to college with the NIL. I mean, that's
totally
the way it is.
Totally. Yeah, it's the NIL thing has changed the game. Obviously, it's different from school to school, but these kids are no longer hurting for cash and looking at their next meal going to be just peanut butter and jelly and trying to scrape by and eating the crappy dorm food. I mean, those days are pretty long gone. So they can sort of afford to come back.
The bus trips where you got a half of Subway sandwich.
Oh God, PTSD from those.
I used to hear stories about that.
Yeah, those were different days. I mean, it's crazy. It wasn't even that long ago either. I mean, it was, but I mean, you think about like 2010 or that kind of that era. You're eating. They're eating these terrible Applebee's meals as your pregame meal. I mean, it's crazy to think about now because like no program does that. But
yeah, right. One more thing in recruiting, kind of a strange deal. Jeremy Howard, recruiting analyst, did a lot of work on this and researched it. And we were actually getting a lot of text and DMs on Twitter from different recruiting guys around the country. They were the ones bringing this up. And that was Ron Holland. He was a 5th-ranked player in the country.
Yep.
For 2023, decommitted from Texas and then asked to be released from his NIL. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, somehow Creighton's name got involved in that, which it really wasn't before. The lists that have come out lately don't include Creighton in our research and so forth. Obviously, this kid's going to want humongous NIL money. A school that I know has humongous NIL money and is kind of in the running for him is Arkansas, which makes a ton of sense, right? They lost a ton of guys this year, so they've got the room, and
they've also picked up a ton of guys in the portal.
Yeah. So it fit them. They've got NIL money to throw around, But that was kind of strange. Like all of a sudden people are like, well, wait a minute, you know, what does that mean? I go, I don't think it means anything. I think his name was just out there. And, geez, you can't, if some things would have worked out, my God, you can't pass up a guy like that, 5th overall in the country. Very Kevin Durant.
Most programs would take that.
Yeah. But the way it is, I really like the way this roster is shaking out. And if, Trey and Culk come back, I really like what we've done here. If we can get these 2 recruits, we got some depth. We've got some athleticism.
Yeah.
We've got a really nice, a lot of shooters now this year, better shooters even. So yeah, really gonna be a lot of fun as we move forward. I want to mention our sponsors. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. They've been a bank here in Nebraska since 1882. 2 great locations just north of TD Ameritrade, and then over on 204th and over in 20th over in Elkhorn. I'm sorry. They take the headache of banking away. They do answer their phone on the first ring. They're incredible. Their customer service is off the charts. And the Bank of Blue Jay Banner. So check them out. Doug Nodgaard, president, does a fantastic job, and obviously a huge Jays fan. And then another one of our sponsors, the West Pacific Dental Group, Dr. Robert Hogan. Dr. Hogan, myself, and our wives broke bread last weekend, so we had a wonderful evening. And happy to know that, our partnership with him is going to continue, and just fabulous. He's my dentist. Just they take care of all your dental needs. They don't just tell you what they're going to do. They get your input. They have discussions with you for your whole dental health. So check them out, West Pacific Dental Group. And then also Infusion Brewery, the makers of the Let It Fly beer. You well know that. You can get a lot of their products down at the Crescent Moon. So head over there as well. And just go down their tasting room over in La Vista. It's fabulous. So go down there as well. That's Infusion Brewery. Blue Jay Banner Golf Tournament. I know some people are already starting to think about it. It's May 1st, Ross, by the way.
It is May 1st.
May 1st, May 1st, and we had maybe 2 nice days. If you consider the 85 degrees days, but the wind was blowing 40 miles an hour. Okay, so I don't count that as a nice day.
The wind has been driving me absolutely insane.
It's been crazy. It has been nuts. Saturday was bad. It was just, yeah. But anyway, August 19th, Blue Jay Banner Golf Tournament. We're going to be at Dodge Riverside Golf Club, right across the river from downtown Omaha. I think most people know where it is, right next to Harrah's. Go over there. Everything afterwards will be at their clubhouse. Fabulous clubhouse. Man, they've got one of the nicest clubhouses around. So I think you'll really enjoy it. If you haven't played there, it's a beautiful course, tree lined. If it's a little warm, you got a lot of shade. It's a beautiful course, great greens. They always have fantastic greens. And so I think
haven't played there in a couple of years.
Oh, yeah. I haven't. Well, they were doing some, they had to do that kind of construction because they're redoing the interstate along, like, used to be hole 3. I don't know what it is now because they kind of refigured the holes. But I haven't played there since they did that. But God, it's always in great shape. And Bennett, the general manager down there, I know him well. He was at Players Club for a long time. So he's excited that we're coming over. He's going to roll out the red carpet for us. So it'll be an 8 a.m. start. I think we're going to have a full field. We'll again have the website. That'll up and be running by the time we do the show next week. So I'll pump it up then. But make sure and check it out and get your teams in because, man, we're going to fill up fast this year. A lot of people are excited about playing. Speaking of golf.
Hopefully it's not the hottest day of the year like it was last year.
Oh, man.
That was
great. It was great for me personally.
Yeah. Zach did the putting contest, so he's just sitting under a chair over there. Unless Zach, that one cart gal wasn't going to go back and give you water. And I went, dude needs some water over there. Trust me.
I had some drink tickets. I got some Gatorades. It was all good.
Oh, there you go. All right. The Creighton golf team. Catherine Lemke won back-to-back, won the women's Big East for the second year in a row, so she's going to play in the regionals. And then the men were challenging for a while. Charlie Zielinski finished fourth. He's a tremendous player. Finished fourth in the Big East this year. So golf teams really had a great season. Really did. A lot of success there.
Very impressive from Catherine Lemke. She should be very, very proud of herself.
Absolutely. As you may or may not know, we got a little thing called Take Your Shot. And we started it, I don't know, about 3-4 weeks ago. And we've only had one of the shots we've taken, only one of them we've been able to judge. And that was, I had Baylor returns. And if you don't know how this works, so, a very easy one like Baylor returning, that's a layup. Medium one is a free throw and a long shot. Ross has one, Zach has one. Those are 3-pointers. So right now we've got, and by the way, our viewers, all you got to do is send us an email, bluejbanner@gmail.com, or an instant reaction, BJB instant reaction, and send us an email and we'll put you on our list. We do have one more to judge, and that is, it was a 3-pointer, and that was R2 ends up at a Big East school. That was mine. I lost. So I'm now 1-1 in my picks. So there you go. Ross, you thought that was crazy when I did it.
I thought there was no chance that was happening.
Oh, you were right. There was no chance. I don't think we have anything else. So anybody got any shots they want to take?
Oh gosh. I don't know. I don't think that I do. I just want the transfer report. I just want all that stuff to be done with. I just want to know what the roster is. This is the type of stuff that drives me nuts after the season. You got now, okay, the NBA thing that's always kind of existed. Are guys going to come back or not? You think they are. Maybe they won't last minute or vice versa. I just want that to be done. I want the transfer portal stuff to be done. I want to know what the roster is. I'm done wasting. I'm exhausted following Twitter and seeing what teams are interested and hearing about rumors from people. It's exhausting, Tim.
All right, I have one. Creighton Blue Jays will win in basketball. The Creighton Blue Jays will win more games this coming year than they did this year.
Creighton will win more games?
Yes.
What was our final record? I don't even remember.
Zach, you got that?
We had about 12 or 13 losses, I think.
Yeah, I think we're 24-13. It
was around that.
So I'd say we're going to win more games.
Yep, 24-13.
Well, you might be right, Tim, because I don't think we're going to have as hard of a non-conference schedule.
Well, in some respects, I mean, so let's think about it. We had, Texas Tech turned out to be not that good of a team last year. So they weren't, so that game was probably, as we thought when we were playing it, but okay. But we did have Arkansas, Arizona, Texas, Arizona State. So those are 4 really solid non-conference games, okay? But if you think about it, we're going to have the Big Ten, Big East Challenge. That could be Michigan State or Purdue, so that'll be a very good game. Oklahoma State will probably be a tournament team next year. That's a pretty solid game. Obviously, Alabama, as good as Arizona, if not better.
We play Alabama next year.
We play Alabama at home next year, absolutely. We play them at home and home.
And we play at Oklahoma State. Okay,
so that's 3. And then, that would be it probably, huh? We probably won't schedule anyone else. I think we only have.
We're still waiting on Big Ten, Big East.
Yeah, we don't know who that's. They don't announce that till way later. So, because they gotta maneuver through all the arenas and stuff. That's what takes them so long.
Yeah.
That's why the Big East is so slow with it. They gotta maneuver around all the hockey and NBA.
Yeah, but they got done. But they did the Big 12, Big East. You know.
Well, yeah. That's true.
I don't know though. It'll be interesting. Wait, so in our tournament next year is the Kansas City one, right?
Yep, Hall of Fame Classic.
And
Which
that's
I'm
a
looking
very
at right now.
down one, isn't it?
Best
Yeah.
team is Colorado State.
Which I was going to give one of my shots, which is a prediction, is that Creighton would just win both of their games in that.
All right. So first of all, let's get mine, and then we'll get to yours. So what was that going to be? A layup, a free throw, or a 3-pointer?
That's a layup. I mean, if they're going to play like Colorado State and like Boston College or whoever the other
Or-
team is.
Tim's first, the overall record.
Oh, sorry.
All good.
I'll say that's a 3-pointer.
You think that's that tough a selection? Really?
No, I view the 3-pointer as like could happen, could not happen.
No. Like a layup is a sure thing. Free throw is the middle range, and then 3-pointers like it's a big deal. Like you have the only 3-pointer right now that Nova's going to win the Big East.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought we had a half-court shot that was like a
We have
far-fetched
three.
prediction.
We have 3 middlings. We have 1 layup right now. That's home game in top 10 crowds of all time.
Got it.
Well, no. I'm sorry. I got that backwards. The home game is a free throw. We have 3 layups right now. Georgetown avoids play-in. Big East will be top 2 in Ken Palm, and Kalk will be an All-American.
Yeah, okay. I would say that yours about having a better more wins, so better record basically would. Yeah, okay. I guess that's a free throw. Yeah.
You agree, Zach?
Yeah, that's where I was at with it as well.
All right. So now we got Zach says Creighton is going to win the tournament down in Kansas City. I think that's a layup.
Yeah, I agree.
But you're trying to get on the board, aren't you, Zach?
I was just looking at the field and I was like, this is the soonest one that I have so far. The other two we won't know until March. At least this one's November.
I hear you. All right. There we go. So there's a couple more predictions on the board. We won't put these on the board, but what are your predictions for Kalk and Trey, Russ?
I think both will be back. I expect both to be back. I guess could one of them or both of them, receive feedback that's more positive than expected in this exploratory process and say, screw it, I'm staying in. It's possible. I don't think that'll happen, but I would expect both of them to be back.
I have one more I'm going to throw in here to shoot your shot. Creighton baseball team, okay, will either win the regular season or the conference tournament.
I like that. I think that's a free throw.
Yeah, I would think so because we got our toughest 9 games coming up right now, Otherwise, I'd say we're in great shape. We're going to make, unless we totally stumble, we should make the Big East. Although one thing Ed didn't mention is UConn. So Georgetown has a week off coming up. UConn plays Seton Hall. So Seton Hall, if UConn swept Seton Hall would have 8 losses, and they'd be in big trouble about making the Big East tournament. So they'd almost have must-win situation against us. So I'll put that down as a free throw. I'll take that. All right. So we get some more stuff on the board. This will be more relevant as we get later into August and September. We can make some more predictions. Somebody asked us the other day, we're still in on our annual match, aren't we, Ross? We have to head over. We have to head over to Field Club this year. We did not
We got-
play it last year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I don't think we did. By the way, I'm headed to your club. I'm playing at Players on Saturday.
Get out. What time are you playing?
I think we're off early, like 8:10 maybe.
Get out of here.
What we got going?
Let me look this up, Mr. Ferrarini. I think I'm at 8:50.
Nice. All right, well, I'll see you out there then.
Yeah. Well, that's probably the worst time to see somebody, though. You know what I mean? Like, you get a little bit ahead. Oh, no, you know what? I'm early. I'm super early. I'm 7:40, I think.
Gee, that is way early.
Well, the reason why it's Kentucky Derby Day. And I always like me and my wife get into the Kentucky Derby, so we like to have a little time.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it is Kentucky
Go
Derby.
down there. I am. Oh, Ross, I'm at 7:20.
That's too early.
Well, I can always bow out. There's plenty of other tee times I can grab a little bit later. Okay. All right. Well, what time did you say you're teeing off?
I think 8:10.
Okay, you must be on a different rotation then. I don't see you. There you are.
There I am.
You're on the B. You're in the B rotation. Oh, you playing with Ben Walker?
What is the B? Yeah, what is the B rotation?
Oh, they just have A, B, and C because we have 3 9s, so they don't actually tell
I
you.
see what you're saying. Okay, gotcha.
But like the C one, we'll just have that open in the afternoon, like for guys that want to play like late or, like the first tee time there is 11:30. So they kind of mix them up, rotate them, and so.
How's the course? Is it in pretty good shape?
Of course, the fairways are just gorgeous. We just punched our greens, so I would think by Saturday you're still gonna see remnants of the punching, but they do tend to heal up pretty quickly.
Okay.
So we punched them.
Greens could be pretty slow potentially.
No, we punched them. I'm sorry, we punched them a week ago.
Okay.
So we punched them last Monday and Tuesday. So it's been a week now. I played Saturday. I mean, they weren't perfect yet, but they were very puttable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play Thursday, so I'll give you a little report how they are. I bet you by Thursday they're in pretty darn good shape. 4 birdies Saturday, Russ.
That's impressive.
4 birdies. You know what I shot? 80. God.
Yep. Scoring is hard.
My playing partner said to me, "Do you realize the week before, during the week, we played 9 holes one night?" He goes, "You had 6 pars in 9 holes. Do you know how many pars you had today? 3. 3 pars. Is that awful?" Oh, man. I got on the bogey train, baby, and it was – although it wasn't – later Saturday, we played like at 1 o'clock, so that was the worst time to go out because that wind was starting to pick up pretty strong Saturday. So, all right.
Yeah, I can't play when it's that windy out. It drives me crazy.
Ross and I will report back. Made a few changes at Players since you've been there. A few bunker changes. Took some out, shortened some, made the lips higher in others.
Should be good.
So there you go.
Should be good.
All right. We're going to close out our Take Your Shot. And again, people, if you have Take Your Shots, let us know. Send them to BlueJayBanner.com. We will get them added onto the sheet. By the way, one more thing, BlueJayBanner.com. It is absolutely blown up over there. Zach, am I right?
That is correct.
We're having a great time over there. It's nonstop. That message board is something. It's something. You got to read it to believe it.
I'm glad
one of the
sagas is over.
Yeah, I wanted to start like Blue Jay Banner post of the week. But I remember a couple of years ago I asked guys and nobody wanted to participate. They're like, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
They don't want their takes.
And I was going to use their moniker. I wasn't going to use their name. So, but I they're worried because it's a private board. They don't want any of that information to get out. And I was going to say, I wasn't going to take anything that was controversial. I was going to just, but anyway.
I'll tell you what,
we're not going to do that.
We talked about it briefly, and all of the posts that I could think of were by just one guy. And I'm sure you know exactly who it is.
And I know the guy. He look, you can say what you want. He's driving business. He's driving business. Okay.
I will give him that.
So anyway, we're very close to our all-time high. I actually have a meeting with the head cheese at Rivals later because we had a new contract year, and texted me late last night like, well, do you still want to do this? Well, duh, hello. So I'm going to throw that out there that, hey, we're blowing up over here. So why don't you join in the fun? BlueJayBanner.com. Go there, sign up. We're going to see if we can't, when I talk to the head cheese, get some promos going so we can get even more wonderful people to participate. Like maybe Ross Ferrarini. He would enjoy it. All right. That's it for the show. We will be back next week. Hopefully we'll have some more recruiting news to wrap up. Hopefully we'll have some more NBA workout information, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll recap the Xavier series. By the way, get out there. I think it's going to be finally get some nice weather. So this is a fun team to watch. So get out and support the Jays. And we'll effort some more outstanding guests. We were trying to get Russ Wood back on from Rivals, who was a real recruiting expert. So it'd be really interesting to get his thoughts on the portal and everything going on. So there you go. So thanks for listening. Appreciate it. We'll see you next week.